What's up, everybody? Ashley with Techno Buffalo. I am here checking out the Lumia 928, the Verizon version of the Nokia Lumia 920. I'm going to be checking it out. Let's take a look at what makes this a little bit different from the 920. Okay, so here it is, the Nokia, depending on where you live in the world, Lumia 928. This is the special version that was created for Verizon. And as you can see, we have the Verizon red theme happening here. We wanted to make sure that we were serving up Verizon realness. We have the branding, of course, and it's also 4G LTE right there on the back. You can see it's a little bit different design here. So the 920, which is here, it's not as rounded. Obviously, we have some flatter edges, which is a little bit different. And then on the back, we have a xenon flash instead of two LEDs, which that's also an addition that is pretty exciting for camera enthusiasts. And we know that Nokia is traditionally also very enthusiastic about their camera technology. Carl Zeiss, PureView lenses. This one has the same f-stop, so they're running on very similar camera technology. The 928 has a slightly different camera algorithm, but other than that, they're almost identical. Well, the Nokia Lumia 928 has an AMOLED screen, which is a little different than the 920. The 920 has an IPS LCD, but they do have the same PPI. It's 332, 4.5-inch screens, and the same resolution. So pretty similar in terms of looks. Honestly, this screen is really beautiful. Of course, with AMOLED, the blacks are super deep and rich, and really does the Windows Phone 8 UI justice. Very brightly colored UI that we're all familiar with. So let's check out a couple of different things happening on the phone here. One of the things that a lot of people haven't quite noticed is on the 920, the screen starts at about right here. And the bezel on the top is actually a little bit shorter than the bezel at the bottom. Actually, it's quite a bit shorter. I want to say it's about half the size of the bezel. On the 928, Nokia has actually fixed that. So now, instead of having to kind of reach a little farther with your right thumb, you don't have to do that. The screen is pretty well centered, which is kind of a nice thing if you enjoy typing in landscape mode. We have 32 gigabytes of non-expandable storage on board, no removable battery, but we've pretty much seen that from Nokia up until this point, so it's not a huge surprise. But for some of you, that might be a problem. Honestly, with Windows Phone 8's optimization, getting a full day's worth of battery should not be a problem, but I will run through those in my tests and make sure that you're going to get a full day's worth of battery out of the 928. Other than that, it's pretty similar to the 920 and the 925. In terms of specs, they're pretty much identical. They're using 1.5 gigahertz Snapdragon S4 Plus dual-core processor. It's got 1 gig of RAM. They also both have 8.7 megapixel cameras on the back. So you're looking at pretty similar cell phones here. Really, it's just a matter of design. If you were hoping for colorful phones on the 928 on Verizon, I'm sorry, you're in for some disappointment. Because if you wanted a beautiful cyan 928, you're not going to get one. The 928 only comes in black and white, my friends, so if you want any kind of personality, you're going to have to do it with tiles. Well, a lot of people are always curious about the apps available for Windows Phone 8. One of the big arguments that I tend to hear from people who are hesitant or on the fence about picking up a Lumia device is that they're not sure that all the apps are quite there. So let's go to the marketplace and check out what's happening with apps. Generally speaking, I gotta be honest, if there isn't an official app for it, like Instagram, there's usually some kind of third-party developer who has kind of picked up the slack on that, which is a really nice thing. So if we go to the top free apps, you can see Farpost, not Google, has made a YouTube app. It has a lot of really good ratings. Facebook, Pandora, Skype, ESPN, of course, Nokia's proprietary City Lens, music, driving apps, which are actually quite good. We also have weather, highlights, Cinemagraph, which is a really cool camera feature. We have Netflix, SkyDrive. I mean, pretty much the things that you're looking for are going to be here on the phone. And I know that Google is not planning on having native apps, but generally speaking, Nokia tends to pick up the slack in terms of mapping. I don't think that you would be desperately missing anything in particular unless you had some very specific app that was exclusive to either iOS or Android that you would be missing. This is Instance, so that's the Instagram app, very popular and also well reviewed. A lot of people really like this. Love being able to post photos on Instagram, so it's definitely getting better. I would say getting better. So if you're on the fence, give it a shot, because honestly, Windows Phone it's a good operating system. As with all of them, they have their own pros and cons. There are some things that I don't care for in Windows Phone, but there are some things I also really like. Live Tiles is really fun. It's a great way to sort of see all of your information at a glance. I do like the Xbox integration, and it's always really fun to be able to have that available to you. Obviously, Smart Glass, a really, really cool feature that I'm a big fan of, especially with Game of Thrones. Sue me. But yeah, that's the basics. Generally speaking, it's the same Windows Phone 8 experience that you're used to getting. There's obviously no custom skins like an Android, and it really does have extremely similar specs and everything to the 920 and the 925. It's just a matter of really taking a look at it, deciding if you want to grab this on Verizon. Obviously, Verizon traditionally hasn't really supported Windows Phone as much as, say, AT&T has. So this is a really exciting thing for anybody on Big Red who's been waiting for the Lumia 928. I'll have a full review up in maybe a week or so, but please feel free to drop in any questions in the comments and tell me what features you might want to see me cover, and I'd be happy to go over to them in the full review. Until next time.